Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here and make a special remark at the closing plenary. I think the pronunciation is very precise. I'm Mengrong Cheng from State Grid Corporation of China, but you can call me Shirley because it's sometimes really difficult for Western people to pronounce my name in the correct way. State Grid Corporation is the largest company, power company in the world, and we also the strategic partner of care for climate. I noticed that in the board, our Chinese name has been switched 90 degrees. I don't know what happened, but in any case, you only read English, which is correct. Okay. Well, many exciting and enriching discussions took place throughout the breakout session of today's Caring for Climate Forum, and it is also encouraging to learn that today's methodologies to support companies to keep emissions aligned with the planetary boundaries have recently been developed by partners of Caring for Climate. And nearly 100 companies have already committed to set science-based targets, meaning that they are aligning corporate greenhouse gas reduction goals with the best available climate science. And tomorrow we're going to hear more companies committing to do this, and it's crucial to scale this approach up and make standard business practice. And as a matter of fact, our chairman, Mr. Liu Zhenyao of State Grid Corporation of China, is also going to deliver a special remark tomorrow. And he was going to talk about a very important solution proposed to the global climate, to combat climate change, which is called global energy interconnection. So we're going to listen to more about his remarks tomorrow. While carbon management remains a crucial pillar of corporate climate action, adaptation must also be a core component of effective strategy for reducing and managing the risks of climate change. And corporate adaptation activities should consider not only corporate benefits, but also address climate risk in the communities in which they operate. And this is what Caring for Climate calls responsible corporate adaptation. And in the session today, we heard how adapting responsibly brings many benefits to business, such as improving operations and competitiveness, boosting the renewable energy, protecting the value chain, leveraging the business opportunity, and building corporate brand. Another session discussed the constructive role that business can play in the design of a climate policy if they engage responsibly. And Caring for Climate and partners published a guide to support companies in their advocacy and responsible policy engagement with policymakers and throughout trade associations. The core element in this guide, legitimacy, opportunity, consistency, accountability, and transparency, help business to connect the dots between their sustainability commitments and their corporate policy positions. Another session featured UNFCCC Climate Neutral Now initiative, which seeks to encourage all parts of society to take action to become climate neutral by measuring, reducing, and offsetting their climate footprints. Leading examples of the wind industry presented at the session highlighted the business case of doing so. And climate action at the local level is crucial. And the session organized by the Global Compact Network France discussed how Global Compact local networks can help accelerate it. Representatives from the networks of South Africa, Brazil, Spain, France, and Canada showcased how they are mobilizing companies and SMEs for climate action along the value chain through their projects, events, publications, and local partnerships. The session organized by UN Global Pulse discussed how to bring the data revolution to climate action. More specifically, it addressed how big data produced by companies in their day-to-day operations can be harnessed to accelerate the development of innovative climate solutions. Actions taken by governments to support this was featured, as well as a pledge of companies to work with the UN Global Pulse initiative, Data for Climate Action Challenge. The session organized by IFC discussed how to scale up climate-smart investment in emerging markets, taking into account that the current flows of finance are insufficient to address the challenge of climate change. And the public sector plays a key role also through multilateral finance institutions in unlocking private climate-smart investments. For example, throughout the deployment of concessional funds. In the session organized by UNEP-FI, we heard about the importance of the systematically integrating corporate climate factors into financial decision-making and capital allocations. Well, before I hand over to the next speaker about investment issue, I think it also worthwhile to mention we see more and more women speakers and panelists presented here today, which is, I believe, very encouraging. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cheng. Thank you, Ms. Cheng. I noticed that too. I came into one of the sessions and it was, I think, entirely, except for one, it was entirely women. There were 6 or 7 women in an investment discussion. So there's been, there's a hashtag out there, something about congratulations, you have an all-male panel. And there's an Instagram, and there's people making a lot of hay with that and embarrassing organizations that don't. I don't know, maybe that's already been happening today, but I think things have looked pretty good today. You guys did a great job.